Sanbonan Black South Africans and my Zulu Nation regarding Somizi Mhlongo and his statement that South Africa can suffer a lot if mass migrants, illegal foreigners can be deported. I think first and foremost he's speaking about rich South Africans, elites, in the given races. The white race most definitely would have a challenge, the white race, and the Indian race would also have a challenge in that regard, because their success is based on exploitation. All right, so the black elites of the ANC, the beneficiaries of US aid like himself, US aid, its prerogative is to gayify black men in Africa, to transform black African men to homosexuality. So US aid has got that requirement. It speaks of it as though, like, it says kind of like, yeah, you've got to be tolerant, but it's not about tolerance, it is about promoting homosexuality. To be tolerant does not mean to promote. All right, so US aid and all those white liberal entities, through so-called NGOs, the prerogative has always been to minimize the strength of a black man for subjugation purposes, which is another level of colonialism towards the New World Order. Yeah, as it may. So Somizi, they are controversial characters. I'm not a person in the arts industry. I'm a person who has known a couple of people in the arts industry, and then there are stories about them and their rise. All right, I'm not taking away that he is talented, but it is not only talent that makes people to prosper. That is why there are extremely excellent artists in South Africa who have not made it to Somizi levels, solely because there are other reasons why a person prospers besides talent. All right, so hence now my emphasis would be US aid. All right, and therefore those NGOs which have always fought against the identity of men, or the identity of family, or the identity of tribe, or the identity of nation. At this juncture in South Africa, the nation they're fighting with the most is the Zulu nation. So what better way than to empower especially Zulu celebs who will sell out the Zulu nation, abo Judas. So also means bango Judas. All right, so you hear certain controversial stories as to their rise, stealing of people's ideas, making them to be theirs and presenting them, and therefore be getting, let's call it tenders. You know, the same system that happened in terms of tenders. It is not the talented or the most capable black South Africans who got tenders. It is the ANC associated ones. So the same phenomenon that we saw in business with white people, or say white capital, intentionally choosing ANC people to empower them into so-called billionaires, which are not self-made, empowered by white people, about Ramaphosa, all those. Well, I cannot call Ramaphosa a Judas because he's not a South African in any case. But Malaysia, most of them, they are Malawians or other nations like Mozambicans, Zimbabweans, who are registered as Shangan or vendor, whereas they are not. So his level of hatred against Zulus as Ramaphosa tells me that he's a Malawian. All right, so now that's besides the point. What what I'm actually speaking about is that there are many issues at hand with regards to open borders at large, but the word is New World Order. White people of South Africa are benefiting from open borders a lot. That is why they've become richest during so-called BEE, which was never BEE. Nedleg, the other point I was trying to make about Nedleg was the issue that Nedleg specifically made partnership with the ANC, not with black entrepreneurs. There were great black entrepreneurs in South Africa, self-made, without politics. They were sabotaged, sidelined by the ANC and their whites, who then created these fake entrepreneurs who have become billionaires out of white network empowerment. All right, so now in that same phenomenon, that's what produced for us the Somizi, Mhlongo type of celebrities, the Connie Ferguson. I couldn't care much about Connie because in any case she does come from Botswana, so if she's got issues with us standing for our borders, I guess she misses home, Botswana. So I couldn't be disturbed much about so-called black South Africans who are fighting for foreigners who actually are foreigners by origins. I don't care about those ones. The ones that I'm more concerned about are sellouts, true sellouts, the people who sell their own nations out to foreigners. So I don't care about these people really, because for me as a Christian first and foremost, the deeds that they are doing is in categories of things that biblically are labeled lawyer. So I don't care about them. All right. So like I'm not shocked when people who operate in these artistic systems, which we saw even in tertiary levels, they are dancing with demons, sort of like with the devil. These revelations that are being propagated or shown today as to the US industries, Epstein, and the things that people do behind our backs to make money. So the people you can see as celebs, you don't have facts, you don't necessarily have proof, but you can discern from the spirit, because we've got to discern. You've got to know whom you are coming across. So like you can see when you are meeting a celeb who is full of demons. So Somizi is not even hidden, because the lifestyle that he's promoting is evil. All right, so he's evil, so he's making a lot of money for promoting evil. All right, so now that he becomes a sellout for the Zulu nation, well, he was never even our representative as Zulu people in the first instance. I doubt there's anything in his life that he has ever sacrificed to the empowerment of Zulu people. All right, there are people who benefit a lot from the Zulu name. All right, and then who don't benefit the Zulu nation with anything after that. So the Zulu name creates a lot of billionaires. It's the name is very much money making. It doesn't benefit the kingdom, the monarchy, but certain people make lots of money because of Zuluness. All right, for their own benefit, not for the benefit of the nation at all. So to find them fighting for foreigners, whereas you right next to his origins, or rather, let's not even go to Mirafa Hostel, let's go to Piri, where this eats comes from. In Piri, the level of poverty in Piri is skyrocketing, around 80%. So he left neighbors that he knew could do far better gardens. He grew up in Soweto, abantu baseSoweto kudala benza amagadini, beklina, bependa, bepheka, ukhulele ema-society napheka kamnandi. And then I'm sure his employees are Zimbabweans also. Now abantu baseZimbabwe abangakaze babe nama-culture ama-society apheka kamnandi so South Africa. Now they are better cooks than black South Africans. No, you are these useless, or rather these wicked, evil people abaphumelela and not want to see their own neighbors prosper. Which Piri folk have you lifted up? Which Snawane artists can actually list you as somebody who has assisted them in all these sacrifices that they made to try and be prosperous? Ubani wena or investile kena in this Piri Snawane precinct to be prosperous? Because now we are hearing negative news about yourselves as the ANC celebrities. We have heard horrible news as to people like you rising up at the expense of other people. So we don't like what we are hearing. We don't. But we obviously those people are speaking and telling us these truths as victims of situations. It's not people who seem to have the ability to confront you guys. But if on these levels, because we're staying in places of artists, if those are the people who are defending you, Somizi, you know, khona abantu abanyanyisayo engafuna ukungena kubona, like now the Operation Dudula has posted what do you call this person in one word, and then abantu bagijimela ukuthi like bazama ukusmoka ukuthi he's a millionaire. Who cares about a millionaire who is a sellout? But because if we cared about millionaires, then we shouldn't even have fought against white people because they were very rich. Why were we fighting against white people? Because we were fighting against oppression or any evil system that subjugates other people to make a few to prosper or to make others prosper. You shouldn't prosper by subjugating other people. That's evil. You don't prosper by bringing other people down. That's not the God equation of prosperity. In God's system of prosperity, it rains on the good and the bad alike. Akuvele nje angeke siphumelele sifane, but abosomizi baqhamuka kwipolitiki ye-ANC which speaks equality. Where is their equality? I'm not ANC. I don't come from ANC politics. I come from what used to be IFP politics. I don't care about today's IFP. Those are sellouts who are similar to Abu Somizi. They belong to that Ramaphosa of theirs and them, that GNU trash. So that's not the IFP I was the other IFP, say, which came to an end perhaps in 1994 or 1999, somewhere there. So now we never believed in equality the way it is propagated, as though sonke fasifane ayikho into enjalo, because we blessed differently, we work differently. So people must first and foremost, as a you must prosper on the brow of your of your eyebrow. Isho njalo isingesi, but uNkulunkulu uthe uzophumelela kamufufutso waphatla ya hao. All right, ngiyazi kangcono ngesisuthu. So now that's the God formula of success. Kamufufutso waphatla ya hao. Iseng ka o hatella batho ba bang hore wena o nyolohe o atlehe. That is not God's formula of success. I hamba kanjalo success ngomZulu Zulu phaqa, but ngifunde isuthu esikoleni, don't worry. So now ayihambi ngokuthi uphumelele ngokuthi ucindezele abanye abantu. You guys are famous for that. And ngiyabuza ke futhi manje Somizi Mhlongondini, ngazathi ungasiyanga nesibongo sesizulu. Yes, this guy bheka webhuti ubani omthuthukisile, ubani omthuthukisile. You guys iphi nale equality yenu ekade nikhuluma ngayo? Ngithi boyi-ANC, uyi-ANC yokuqina. So where is that equality that you guys speak about as ANC celebs? Sibona amanyala. Ngilete engangisho ukuthi mina socialists are worse than those so-called capitalists, because you parade yourselves as saints, but the cruelty that you are to your own place. Nanithi angithi socialism ithi white people are exploiting people. Now you are exploiting people. So Mr. Socialist, yeah, exploiting people. Nonke ubani la muntu weni lo munye lo o concept bengafuna ukushefa konje ubani u DJ Sbu, that guy. Angithi yini enphumelele ANC celebrities owawina ama-award, sama-award ngokwathenga. Angithi kwakusho njalo, mina futhi ngiyabelieve ukuthi wawathenga weSbu. So now equality lebenilwela. Why are you now worse exploiters than those white people that you spoke about? Why are you now promoters and defenders of new forms of colonialism against black South Africans? Their subjugation of black South Africans again. Today's celebs are not celebs. These people nje mabethi nithwele, mina ngiyakholwa ukuthi nithwele ngoba nje your character, your being isn't enzayo the things that you advocate. Eza abantu abaloyayo, akekho umuntu normal ongadayisa abantu bakubo to foreigners. You've got to be a witch to do that. Thank you.